You're watching Oilers Nation Everyday with Tyler Yaremchuk. Your one-stop shop for all things Oilers.
Maybe we should have just lost to the LA Kings. Let's get into it with the lead. To be fair, Liam provided the inspiration for today's lead because that's the first thing you said when you came into the office today. Welcome into the show. We're live from the Sports Closet studio. From jerseys to hats to the legendary foam finger, you'll find it all and more at the Sports Closet. We're also a presentation of Bet365. Download the app today. Use the code NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Oilers Nation every day. On the heels of a Game 6 loss in the Stanley Cup final.
God damn it. Pause for effect.
I mean, that just sucks.
Yeah, it's a stinger. Or was it? Or was it a slow burn? You're trapped in the middle of the fire and there's no way out.
I mean, listen, if I can't tell what's worse about the whole thing. Like, if they would have lost these last two games 4-3 and then 3-1, where like they're in it, it's tight, they have a chance. Oh my God, they're playing so well, but Florida's just unstoppable. I don't know if the heartbreak would be better or worse. I don't know if it would be more or less frustrating. I don't know. I mean, I guess all we do know is that this is the end result. And last night, as you sit there and you stare at a scoreboard that's 3-0 through two periods, and the Oilers can't get a scoring chance, it's just like, okay, so you go into the third, it's like, you know they're not going to get enough quality looks to come back in this thing, but you watch the third period anyways because, again, it's the last period of Oilers hockey in the season, and it's like, Are we? I don't know, man. It was just really, really hard. It felt like a nightmare just being like, oh, this is actually how it's ending. Like, yeah. It felt surreal to be like, this whole run, everything good that happened, it just ended. It felt like it happened so quick. And I know there was 2 days off between games 5 and 6. Those feel like they all happened in the last 12 hours.
Yeah, it was an interesting game because last year you think about it, and obviously it was a 2-1 final in the Game 7, and the entire way till the end, it was like, okay, there's still a chance they could do this. But I don't know about you guys watching and you guys in here too, but like, as soon as that Kachuk goal went in, the third one, I was like, well, there you go. Like, it kind of hit me right away from that moment. I admittedly did not watch the third.
That's crazy.
Judge me how you want, but like, I just couldn't sit through it anymore. I was just so upset. I was, like I said, I watched on my own. My fiance came home from the bar early because she was like, well, this sucks. And we watched The Voice. But anyway, it was...
I went for like a stress rollerblade.
Yeah. That was a good idea.
Oh, yeah, I did post it on my Instagram story. I literally threw like 4 beers in a backpack and I just went rollerblading down the trail. I just kept going. And then I found a tree stump that looked comfortable. And I was like, I'm going to sit here. And I stared at the tiny little river we have in St. Albert and then watched a few people in Oilers jerseys walk by. And I drank a couple beers. And I just thought about how much it fucking sucks that they made it all the way back and didn't win.
The thing I'm kind of on right now is it was clear they weren't good enough, you know? And that's kind of what I'm hanging my hat on at the moment is like, since game 2, they were not really good at all. Like, they had their 2 good periods in game 4 that would have been, and obviously the overtime. But like every other period, they were essentially beat. Florida just dominated them. And you think about it, I know McDavid had the quote of like, we just kept doing the same thing over and over again. It's like, but I don't think you were allowed to do anything else. I think Florida just made that the way the game was going to go. And it's very unfortunate, obviously, the outcome of it, but I don't think they're that far away. I think, and I know it seems like they were a little bit further this year than they were last year, but this team was way better than last season. I just think, unfortunately, Florida was also significantly better than last season.
Yeah, I think on paper, this Oilers team is without a doubt better. I mean, you added losing Broberg and Holloway sucks.
Yep. But Holloway more than Broberg, I would think.
Yeah,
At this
and I mean,
point.
like, one of the things we talked about coming into the series was like, oh man, you have a healthy Evander Kane this year. And then Evander Kane turns out to be a not even a zero, a negative in this cup final.
I would say from the start of game 3 onwards, he became bad. I think the first 2 games he was quite good.
He scored a goal, yep.
But those 3 penalties he took, because he got the extra, what do they call it? Too many men. It was on him.
It was on him.
From that point on, his entire series flipped.
Yep.
It was crazy.
And then, again, the other factors of, like, last year you had Matthias Ekholm being a 24-minute-a-night, minute-munching, top-pairing defenseman. In this series, he was awful. He was a direct reason why 4 to 6 goals in the last 3 games ended up in the back of the Oilers' net. So you have, again, on paper, this year's team was better.
Yeah.
On paper, this year's Florida's team was better. The difference is Matt Tkachuk played through just insane shit.
Crazy.
But everyone else on that Florida team was basically fine. And you had no Hyman, Nuge with a broken hand, Matthias Ekholm playing like a subpar defenseman, like a below replacement level defenseman. And there you go. And Evander Kane was still a 0.
Yeah.
So, like, that's why this thing ended in 6. And, like, again, Florida was great, man. They're just a wagon. And they might be back next year if they find a way to keep all these guys on cheap enough deals. But, like,
so
Florida was a wagon, but Edmonton also, like, do you want to say played like shit? Do you want to say ran out of gas?
I think played like shit.
Yeah,
And
they did play like shit.
I don't want to use the run out of gas because you had 2 series that ended in 5.
Yeah.
You had a lot of breaks throughout this run, and you showed up so poorly in the back half of this series, and it was bad, and like very few players stepped up. We were kind of talking in our little war room over there before, like, not to discredit Jeff Skinner, but the fact Jeff Skinner was your best player in Game 6 is a problem.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, you need that guy. You need guys like that to step up, which he did. Full credit to him. Should have probably been in the lineup a little bit more, but you need to see your best players perform, and that's not what happened. It happened so many times where Sam Bennett was getting goals, Reinhardt got goals, Tkachuk got goals, whoever else, Marchand. It's like McDavid and Draisaitl did not show up enough, and I can't believe, I think Zach Lang put it really well last night, paraphrasing a little bit, but if you had told me the Oilers lose in the Cup final to Florida again, I wouldn't be that surprised. But if you told me that it was because McDavid and Draisaitl didn't score enough, then that would have shocked me.
Let's keep our game recap going. It's brought to you by Litco Law. Litco Law plays for Team U. They're Alberta-rooted, Edmonton proud. And when it comes to fighting for everyday folks, they don't back down ever. When insurance companies play dirty, they drop the gloves. If you've been injured and want to fight for your right to fair compensation, or you've been denied your long-term disability benefits, contact Litco Law. Stop by their office right here in town or visit them online at litcolaw.com. Lawyers you'll love, they do exist at Litco Law. This one, and so, like, again, I watched the game with some buddies last night. And I went and picked them all up, driving over to my house, and I was like, you know what, guys? We're going to know in the first 10 minutes whether or not the Oilers got this thing or not.
Yeah.
And God damn it, the first 3.5 minutes were electric.
Amazing stuff.
They were smoking everyone. They had this physicality. Sergei Bobrovsky couldn't catch a puck, couldn't handle anything. No. And it was like, oh, fuck, they're going to win this game.
Yeah.
And then it's one mistake. Matthias Ekholm, not even a sauce pass, flips a fluttering grenade at Evan Bouchard. And, like, what the hell is Evan Bouchard supposed to do here? Because now he's got to try chip it past him, but he has a Panther coming at him more or less full speed. And then Ekholm doesn't just take the body. He tries to play the puck and get to the outside. It's just like an absolute mess of a play. Matthias Ekholm puts Evan Bouchard in just an impossible stop. Stu Skinner on, I know it says 0 shots here. I think this was his 3rd shot of the game that he faced. Isn't able to stop a falling flip from Sam Reinhart. And it's 1-0, and Edmonton just never gets momentum back. That goal goes in, and, like, again, sometimes I'm the overreactionary fan and all that, but it was just like this one goes in, and you're like, oh, they're not winning. Like, it just felt like right there, it's like they're now going to have to outscore the Panthers by 2 goals for the rest of this game in order to win this thing, and it just didn't feel like it was going to happen. And, like, I don't know, even then the 2-0 goal for Connor McDavid and the big guns to be on the ice, and they loaded up, like, I don't need to go back through every goal and relive all that heartbreak, but, like, and we're going to do it.
Well, let's do it.
But, like, again, Bouchard finds a way to get back. Okay, Draisaitl's got his guy there. He kind of stops up. Everyone's good, and then McDavid just, like, flies in, overcommits, and then a shot from distance where Tkachuk has 8 minutes, it felt like, to pick his spot. Whew, that sucks, man. Like, 56. Like, if you get out of the first period down 1, it's whatever. The fact that big guns are on the ice here and it's 2-0, it's just like that. The knife was already in you. This one twisted it. And that first intermission was a long one because it's like, I just don't see how they're outscoring him by 3 now.
Yeah. I know I said the Tkachuk goal was kind of the one for me, but like, was it Reinhart scored the third one? Sorry.
Yeah, Reinhart scored every single one except for this one.
Sorry, it was the Reinhart goal I was referencing earlier, not the Tkachuk goal. But again, this one really did just feel like it was a nail in the coffin, and you want McDavid to make a better play there. I know in the intermission, Kevin Bieksa kind of broke it down of like Wallman needs to communicate better. It's like, I don't know, that's happening really quickly, and Wallman's got his guy.
Wallman has a guy.
Like McDavid needs to recognize where the puck is and who's open and what he needs to do. And again, like this was such a message from years back. Remember Spectre had that thing of like the Oilers won't win until Leon and McDavid decide they want to play defense. And in that moment, they just lost it. And it really killed them. Like they can come back from any lead. I will say, I think as long as it's complete or out of the stretch, the Oilers can obviously make a game of it. But the way that game was going, you weren't getting the second chance opportunities. They were getting opportunities, just not continuously getting them. For that one to go in, it's just like, man, like how are you doing this again? And it was very unfortunate timing of it all. And then I think the Reinhart one came right at the end of the second period, didn't it too?
And listen, like that right there, those are mistakes Florida just doesn't make.
They never make mistakes.
They never make those mistakes.
No.
Like they're so dialed in, they're so well coached. Like as much as Paul Maurice I think is generally nauseating, like he has that team perfectly dialed in.
Yeah.
And like Edmonton would be trying to get the puck out of the zone. Mistake, turnover, can't win a board battle, all this stuff. And then Florida, when it comes time to getting out of the zone, Edmonton fumbles the puck for half a second, and it's just like ding, 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 back the other way.
Because even like Bouchard obviously makes it, the turnover on the blue line, it's kind of like the whole thing I've had with Kane and like the penalties he's taken. Like I can almost live with those kind of mistakes in a way because it's like you're trying to make a play, and I think that was probably the right play. I guess you could have just gone right into the zone, but for like that to come back and just directly result in a goal against is unacceptable.
Yeah,
like it shouldn't happen. So yeah, just difficult stuff to be watching them defensively because again, there's a team that was coming into the final and played well in the final in moments. The first 2 games of like, you can shut teams down. They limited Florida to 2 shots in the third period of game 1. Absolutely took it over. And now all of a sudden, they just all forgot how to play. They really felt like January Oilers. Like post Four Nations Oilers is what I felt like last night was a little bit.
Totally. Absolutely.
I said last night felt like they were on the second night of a back-to-back in the middle of January on the road at 8:30.
They just got smoked.
Do or die Stanley Cup Finals Game 6 and Game 5 at home. They played like that too.
Just got smoked by Tampa the night before.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, let's get to some comments in the YouTube chat. It's brought to you by Odd Company Brewing and the Nation Beer Everyday Lager, a crisp, clean lager crafted not just for game day, but for every day. Pick one up at one of their 2 locations, Ritchie or downtown. Brian explores. They were outplayed for 250 of the 280 minutes. Yeah, I mean, no other real way around that.
280. They played way more than 280 minutes. Went to overtime. 3 games.
6, 12, 18.
It was more like 400 minutes.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
Sorry, Brian.
There was a lot of minutes.
I know what you're saying.
Avi says McDavid was not good enough in games 4, 5, and 6. No one was, though, right? Like, it's just like no one was good enough. And when the depth is bad, we're so used to Connor and Leon just being able to bail this team out. And Connor and Leon weren't good enough, so they couldn't bail the team out. Also, last night, no power plays, which is insane. I mean, Podkolzin gets high sticked.
Crazy one.
And here's where it's a little annoying. And like McDavid said, the whole like beating our head against a wall, like we tried to do the same thing. Florida plays a style where they take 10 penalties, 15 penalties a game, knowing damn well on the odd night they might call 5. Most of the time they're calling 2. Sometimes they might not call any.
Yeah.
Edmonton decided, I think at some point in that series, that you know what, we're gonna play Florida style. Let's take and then all of a sudden it was 6 power plays a game, and then Edmonton decided, okay, we can't play Florida style
because we'll get penalties.
Because they're calling it, and then the whistles went away. It was almost like if Edmonton wasn't taking penalties, nothing would get called. Well, that's exactly what happened. Yeah. If Edmonton wasn't taking penalties, nothing was getting called, and Florida just felt like they could do whatever they wanted. And I'm not doing the ref thing, but like,
Like,
This is what the fuck? What the fuck?
And also, too, like,
This is ridiculous.
I think the way the Oilers were playing last night, I don't even know if a power play would have helped them necessarily.
But like you score,
like,
yeah.
Come on, like I'm not even asking him to call like the tiki-taki holds and all that stuff. But like, if someone is basically trying to decapitate a guy, like make the call.
That's watching that this morning with like with 15 hours to like.
Yeah.
What the hell? Like the fact that Kane got called on a phantom high stick on Marchand that changed the game. Like, oh, it's so fucking annoying.
Same refs from that game, by
Yep.
the way.
Wow.
What was I missed it, obviously. I turned it off, but like, apparently there was a clear trip in the third period. Too.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people
McDavid
were
was cutting through the zone, and literally the Florida player just kicks his foot, and McDavid eats shit. He's about to go in on a partial break, and just they kick his foot.
And it's just like, okay, I get it. The score probably was 4-0 by that point. But it's like, just call it. Like, come on. Who knows what's going to happen? Like, the refs, I just hate it. It's like, we do not want to have an impact on this game, but we're not going to call any penalties. It's like you have a clear impact.
D-Pal dropped in a super chat earlier on $69.99. He said, this team basically formed in the first round. To go as far as they did was impressive. Extremely proud of our team. Love our team, ON and Yeg next year. I mean, next year is a long ways away. Brian says no tweaks, changes. Okay. Troy is in and says, Tyler, please shut down this rumor, but Spit and Chicklets Merles said McDavid could be asking for a trade to Tampa. I mean,
Tampa?
This is one of those things where like, and Troy, like, I'm not taking this as a shot at you. I'm fine that you brought it up. I had someone earlier today like tweet me and be like, Tyler, this hockey buzz rumor that McDavid's going to LA. What do we do?
Fuck's sake.
And it's like, okay. And I don't mean to, I'm not trying to be disrespectful because Whit comes on our show and I like the Chicklets guys, but like, if you are causing yourself to lose sleep over what hockey buzz, or if you're choosing to lose sleep over a rumor of McDavid going to Tampa, then you maybe deserve to lose some sleep over that. Like you can't let's just think critically here for like 10 seconds. Connor McDavid's going to sit there, the pride of hockey in Canada, everything he's done in Edmonton, every piece of foundation him and his wife have put here, Draisaitl signing, Jeff Jackson runs the team. You think McDavid's going to put his hand up and go, I want to play in Tampa Bay?
Yeah, I'd actually like to play Florida 6 times a year and then have to try and get through them to get to a cup final. Sign me up. Hell yeah. Let's go.
Like,
come on. What did Toronto want? Anyone. It just doesn't make any sense. And again, like, this is not on the commenter, but like, actually, I'll be disrespectful to those guys. Like, that's dumb. That is a dumb thing to say. Like, you know that's not true.
So, again, everything we know about McDavid, does he... I mean, all we know about him is that he loves hockey. What part of him do you think is sitting there being like, more time on the beach would be cool? Not being in the cold would be kind of... Like, fucking, let's just use our brains for 6 seconds. McDavid to LA. Because you know what McDavid's thinking? He's going, you know what? Ken Holland couldn't build a winner around me with Leon Draisaitl. Could probably build it without Draisaitl.
And here's the thing too, if like let's play the game.
Sure.
The hypothetical game, Connor McDavid's like, hey, I want out this summer and I will only play for LA. Okay, well we'll take Adrian Kempe. That'd be a great start. So we're gonna take away their best player already.
Yeah.
I don't know, Brant Clark.
But also, like, the idea
like,
that
the idea
that McDavid's like, I'll only play in LA. Why? Because, again, everything we know about McDavid's personality, he's suddenly going, I want to do more red carpets. What the fuck?
Yeah, sign me up.
Yeah.
More taxes, please.
Connor's like, listen, if I could just pay a little bit more in taxes and be in front of a few more cameras and play for an objectively shittier team, my life's a lot better. Come on, everybody.
Troy, we're not against you.
Troy, I love you as a listener.
Thank you, Troy, but we're against the people that said it. You're just a messenger, and I'm not shooting you. I don't know. Like, fuck, it's not like the Oilers got eliminated in the first round for the 6th year in a row.
Yeah. My laptop just decided it had to update right now.
Okay, I noticed I was ticking.
Everything was just... It's just like, can I delay it? Nope, I'm updating right now.
I don't see it. Like, and here's my thing on it as well. The Oilers walked the West. They absolutely dominated it.
They took Vegas and Dallas, who everybody Everybody
Everyone.
coming into the playoffs
Yes.
had them in the top 3 of cup contenders in the West.
Yes.
Edmonton walked them.
Dominated them. It
Dallas should have been a fucking sweep.
Vegas was relatively close. Overtimes, couple times, obviously, close games. Dallas wasn't even close. Realistically, Vegas is going to get worse this summer.
Everyone's
I know
like,
Mitch Marner's a great player. I would take him on the Oilers any day of the week.
sure.
But if you think someone isn't leaving that team to make money for Mitch Marner, you're wrong.
Whoever they got to put on LTIR.
They ain't playing. They're going to have to, those teams have to make significant moves. And, let me know in the chat, too. Who is the biggest threat to the Oilers in the West next year?
Oh my God, this email scared the shit out of me.
What?
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Why are we naming it that?
Why are we wording things
Okay,
like that? You could share. He's
Yeah,
right?
we'll talk about
okay.
it because we need to promote it on the show.
Great time to do it.
Our marketing team emailed in hey, chatted with Banjo Guy Greta last night. He's hosting a charity car show and toy drive this Saturday on the West End. We'll get more info on that later. But the title of the email we get, and again, we're just having fun with this. The title of the email is Banjo Guy Memorial Car Show.
And it says urgent.
And it says urgent Banjo
All
Guy
capitals.
Memorial Car
Damn.
Show. What? Don't title it that. Can we change the name?
Dude, last night Banjo Guy was at Greta, not in his full attire,
Oh, he was just Dale.
like a regular citizen.
I
Yeah.
ever told you the
It
story
was wild.
of when we met him in LA.
No. Oh, yes, you have. Yes, you
Yeah,
have.
so for people who don't know, we met Banjo Guy for real in LA and hung out with him all night.
Yeah.
In his met him in his gear and everything. And the next morning he comes down for breakfast, but he's just Dale. And then was it you or BM?
That was BM. Who was like, who is that?
He was like, who is that guy? So we just hung out with him all night, dude. This Banjo Guy. It was a real Steve the Pirate moment.
Oh, good pull.
Yeah, but back to what I was saying. People, I asked, who do you think are legit teams the Oilers would threaten the Oilers? People keep saying the Kings. Honestly, the Kings are probably the closest. Mm-hmm. Colorado, I don't know. Are we just gonna keep believing this team that throws fake punches every year that they're gonna finally break through?
I mean, they did win the cup.
They did win, but since then, I don't think they've made it past the first round. Besides winning the cup, I think they're what do they call them? Fake tiger, paper tiger,
Paper tire.
Banjo Guy Memorial Car Show.
crazy.
Don't name it that.
Also, I'm bringing it in for the graphics.
All right.
I figured we might as well.
We'll give the
do it
people
now.
all the info they need for it. And
Here it is.
here we go. Here's if you want to help support Ronald McDonald House Charities. Saturday, June 21st. That's coming up in a few days. 104 30th, 178th Street. New unopened toys, gift cards, newborn baby items. If you're unable to attend, you can drop off items at the above location as well. There's prizes to be won, so a bunch of good stuff. Shout out to Banjo Guy for helping put this on. 6th annual toy drive. There you go. Shout out to Banjo Guy.
Still alive.
Hey guys, I'm just gonna, you know what? We're not gonna do the Carter Hart thing on this show.
No, let's not do that, guys.
Maybe we wait to find out if he's, I don't know, going to jail or not. Maybe we just I'll talk Joel Hofer. I'll talk about a Joel Hofer offer sheet every day of the week if you want.
We could talk about Hart when the verdict is done.
Yeah,
When everything's decided.
and even then, I'm probably not going to want to talk
Yeah,
about it.
it's
It's just fucking pointless.
I think we
no.
just let that one play out.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to remove anyone's comments.
No, it's fine.
we
I can
speculate.
understand why you guys are asking it,
I
but
get it, too.
please understand why I don't want to have an eloquent discussion about the matter.
Diego is in. As a Kings fan, I would take another generational talent from Edmonton. Yep, fair enough, Diego. God damn it.
Swayman? We can talk Swayman, absolutely.
Well, did Pagnota said?
Well, Pagnota says they took a swing at him. I don't think Boston's punting on that guy.
No.
And also, if you watch Jeremy Swayman this year, he wasn't good.
Whoa.
In fact, he might be the number one reason why Boston didn't make the playoffs. In fact, he might be the number one reason why Brad Marchand got fucking traded to the Florida Panthers and the Oilers lost the Stanley Cup. If Jeremy Swayman has a better season, Boston's in contention. They don't sell Brad Marchand at the deadline to Florida, and who knows how things play out. But again, Jeremy Swayman, you all hate Stuart Skinner, who this regular season had a .896 save percentage, but you want Jeremy Swayman, who had this season an .892 save percentage. The only way I'm doing it is if they are taking a bad contract back from me. You know who they can have?
Anakin.
They can have Darnell Nurse.
Oh, yeah. Take that.
I'll even give you something. Nurse for Swayman, I'm in. A first-round pick for Jeremy Swayman at $8.25 million? Terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible. Like, try for Ilya Sorokin? Sure. That's not happening.
John Gibson, you guys all know my stance on him. I'm out. He's just so injured all the time. He's a good goalie.
Yeah.
Like, he obviously turned his season around this year and probably a lot better than we expected, but constant Band-Aid. And Oilers cannot afford to have that guy.
Okay, we'll have a bigger goalie discussion maybe later on. I want to get to this because it's unbelievable. A $399 donation from Cup Year, who's changed. His name is now Next Year. This one hurts. The boys gave it almost everything, and we rode the highs and lows together like we always do. Proud of this team and even prouder to be a part of the ON family. The Cup didn't come this year, but our time's coming. Next season, we go again. Maybe that should be our slogan next year. We go again.
It took me 2 minutes after we lost to get from Cup Year to next year.
Next year.
Come on.
But thank you so much. I mean, next year, all you've done is donate a ton of money to the Ben Stelter Foundation. So we appreciate you for that. We appreciate you watching along. Yeah, I mean, back to the Swayman thing. If you're going to sit here and be like, he was good in the World Championships. Okay, then I'll sit here and be like, Stuart Skinner was great against Dallas. Like, what are we fucking doing here, guys? I realize I'm swearing a lot today. I'm sorry, but I'm obviously not in a great mood.
Look, we've been Skinner defenders the entire season. I'm sorry, but like, I can't just sit here and pretend that goaltending. I can't word this right. It just coming out. That goaltending actually matters that much to get you across the line. In the sense of like, how many elite goalies are there in the NHL? Do you think? Because right now, I think there might be one. And his name might be Sergei Bobrovsky.
Well, it's Hellebuck. Oh, but he craters in the playoffs.
Collapses every playoffs. They kill Jake Ottinger. Shesterkin
halfway through this year, Rangers fans hated him because he was so bad.
Typically pretty good in the playoffs, Shesterkin, I would say.
Yeah.
The Oilers walked through Kemper, Aiden Hill, and Jake Ottinger with Calvin Pickard and Stuart Skinner. I'm with the people who are like, we probably need a bit of a more consistent goalie. I would agree. But like, I don't look at like what Stuart Skinner did and performed and think like that's the reason they lost. The reason they lost is because they couldn't score enough goals. And I think you had a good point of they probably need to find another player to take that step.
Yeah.
But hey, if you get Sorokin, that probably does help.
I mean, I would do a lot to get Ilya Sorokin.
Do you not think that's weird though? Like, it's so annoying. And to be honest, I'm probably wrong. Goaltending has probably way more of an effect than I want to give it credit. But like, I just don't understand how we can sit here and be like, Skinner's brutal, and we want Swayman or Ottinger or Hill or Kemper when we beat them every year.
But is that okay? But to give the counter argument, it's like the Oilers are so good that they beat those guys. Like, I hate that I'm saying this as a Skinner supporter, but like, if the Oilers got to play Stuart Skinner in a series,
yeah, maybe
it's probably a lot worse than any of those guys.
Maybe that's true as well. But I just think that like, you look at that Dallas blue line, and like Ottinger still did well in games, but when he played the Oilers, they still beat him up. I think it's just based off like, how good is your team? And I think the Oilers team is great. I think the Florida Panthers team is elite. And I think that just proves to be the difference. I think all those other teams are like Vegas, LA, and Dallas. Like, I know we said they kind of walked them, which they did. I think they're all very good teams.
Yeah.
But ultimately, they weren't good enough to beat the Oilers. And I think their goaltending played a factor in it. And I think Skinner and Pickard were better than all of them, evidently.
Yeah. This is going to get to some interesting spots, I think. So I want to do one big take, and it's brought to you by Tourism Jasper. Your best summer memories are not behind you. They're ahead of you this summer in Jasper. They're waiting for you this summer in Jasper. Jasper is open, vibrant, and ready to welcome you back for more unforgettable moments. Plan your trip today at jasper.travel/summer. Here's my one big take. I watched a Florida team that on one line has Matt Tkachuk. On another line, they have, Alexander Barkov and Sam Reinhart. On another line, there's Brad Marchand, and you mix in Sam Bennett there. And like, you look at the way all of those guys at different points in this series had shifts where they just took over the hockey game.
Yeah.
right? Scored impactful goals that they were able to basically get out of nowhere. All of those guys were unbelievable. And what guys do the Oilers have with that true game-breaking ability? Because Florida, I think, legitimately has 5 of them on their forward group. Edmonton has 2. They have great complementary pieces, I think. Nuge is one of them. Hyman's one of them. Granted, he was hurt. My one big take after watching the Oilers lose in 6 games, they need a difference maker. They need one more high, and it's crazy I'm saying this, they need one more high-end forward. And you can sit there and be like, Tyler, that is insane. How many expensive forwards do you need on a team? Edmonton has McDavid and Draisaitl that make north of $10 million. Edmonton has, I'll take that even a step further. If you look at the Oilers cap picture, they have McDavid and Draisaitl that make north of $6 million. How many players do the Florida Panthers have that make north of 7? Carter Verhaeghe, Sam Reinhart, Matt Tkachuk, Alexander Barkov, and you know who's going to be right there is Sam Bennett and Brad Marchand as well.
Yeah.
They have 6 guys who are all either this year or at least coming up next year going to be making $7+ million a season. 6 of them. Edmonton has 2. I get that sometimes people look at the Oilers and are like, oh, they're top heavy and they need more depth. I actually think, no, they need more top-end skill, which is crazy. And what's painful about it is I'm looking at this team and going, you now do not have a first-round pick until 2027. You have 1 good prospect in your system, 2, I guess, Sam O'Reilly and Matt Savoy, but you probably need them to pan out. You probably need Sam O'Reilly to be your Anton Lundell, and you probably need Matt Savoy to be a top 6 winger for you next year to inject some amount of speed and skill into this team. You have no way to trade for it. The only way you can really do it is to sign it in free agency. God damn it, Mitch Marner's not an answer. I'm not willing to go down that path and give him $12, $13 million. The Oilers need a difference maker, and here's the thing, Liam. I think they know that.
I think they definitely
You and I were obviously on the Mikko Rantanen thing. They went very far down the path. They had an extension ready for Mikko Rantanen. I think the Oilers know they need another difference maker, and Stan Bowman's biggest challenge, I don't think, is going to be finding a starting goalie, because we've seen countless times in the NHL, the Washington Capitals stumbled into 2 in Charlie Lindgren and Logan Thompson just by kind of getting lucky. Montreal claimed Sam Montembeault on waivers and whoa, it's storming outside?
Let's have a look. During my one big take, afternoon storm.
Damn, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Anyways.
When I got this upstairs.
Something like Ghostbird, we need 5 Pud Colsons and 5 Holloways. No, and Kale says, wouldn't Holloway have been that? Yeah, I do think he would have been. Like, that's a mistake. They should have kept Dylan Holloway. Absolutely. They need a difference maker. And what I'm saying to Stan Bowman right now, what did this year show you? Vasily Podkolzin is a good player for you. You found him for a 4th-round pick, and he signed for $1 million. Is he a better player than Victor Arvidsson?
Yes.
Is he a better player than Jeff Skinner?
Oui.
Okay. You found Kasperi Kapanen on the waiver wire. Is he a better player than Victor Arvidsson?
I would say yes.
Yes.
Not Jeff Skinner, though.
No, probably not Jeff Skinner. My message to Stan Bowman, and I'm going to drop another F-bomb, so I'm sorry.
Here we go.
Quit fucking around with the Jeff Skinners at $3.5 million. Quit fucking around with the Victor Arvidssons at 4. Yeah. Enough of that shit. No more. You go sign $8 million players, or you sign $1 to $2 million players. I am done with the mushy middle. I'm done overpaying for support pieces. No more of it. If you are signing someone, they are elite or very, very high end, or you are going to the scraps and you're finding Corey Perry's and you're finding David Tomasek. Lord knows what he's going to be, but like you're finding the Podkolzins and these. Fill the bottom of your roster with projects and cheap players and say, you know what? If we sign 10 of them, 6 of them will work, and we'll patchwork together a middle 6. There would have been There would have been a player somewhere on waivers who could have given you what Adam Henrique gave you.
Yep. To be fair, he didn't sign a few of those players.
No, he didn't.
And I know that's not your argument,
but my point is, like, he got Podkolzin and Kapanen. Yeah. Like, he can find them. He doesn't need to, like, I'm done with the mushy middle. Sign impact.
I completely agree. And I think when you look back at the Chicago teams he was obviously a part of, I think he probably recognizes that. Probably. And I like what you said there too. Like, sign 10 bottom 6 players and hope 6 of them work. Hell, hope 4 of them work. Yeah. You can probably live with 2 of them just being bangers and crashes. Florida do. Jonah Gadjevich is not that good of a hockey player. Yeah. He just works his ass off for his coach. But you look back at the Chicago team and like talk about game breakers. Hossa, Shaw, Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves, Duncan Keith, Brent Seabrook. So there's 6 right there. And then like Stahlberg chips in. This is 2011 roster. 2011. Stallberg chips in with 20 goals. David Boland chips in with 19. Like Andrew Brunette gets 12. Like, and then you go out on the deadline and you find guys like they did. Like they go and get like a Johnny Oduya and stuff like that. Right? Like I think Bowman is actually going to do a pretty good job this summer of, like you said, not just chipping around the edges, like making legit changes to this team. And like Darnell Nurse is here next season, whether we like it or not.
Yeah, and I have a take on that too.
It's difficult to move that guy this summer. Next summer, though. One after, maybe not. But either way, like I think they recognize that. And also, too, like I have an article on Oilers Nation right now. They have shown, like you said with Rantanen, we talked about it yesterday. We didn't like it, but like there's links with him with Aaron Ekblad. To me, that shows, again, like you said, like they clearly understand what the goal is here and what needs to be done. And they're not just going to screw around anymore. Like people keep saying JJ Peterka. Do you think that's a player that would help?
Well, so like, yes, I love JJ Peterka. He's going to be a star. He's going to score 30 goals every year for the next 10 years.
Is he Sam Reinhart? You know what I mean? Like,
he could be Sam Reinhart.
Yeah.
He absolutely could be Sam Reinhart.
23 years old, by the way.
Okay,
27 goals this season.
But Frank, on the DFO Rundown, talked about how Chicago might have to dangle the third overall pick to get Peterka.
Yeah, the others don't have a third.
Who, like, you cannot, I challenge anyone in the chat to put together a trade offer that Buffalo would take for JJ Peterka involving any number of assets on the Oilers. Because why would they want Matt Savoy? They traded him.
Yeah, he's literally the only player they could possibly want. We did the whole thing with Bone Byram.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost impossible in a way to do it. So, I don't know. Like, did you say Ehlers wouldn't be the guy?
He's not the guy.
Because you're probably going to have to pay him 7 or 8. He's already making
Besser's
6.
to...
Although he's probably the closest thing they could find if they wanted to do it.
Well, and so here's where I'll give my take on the Darnell Nurse thing, because I saw it was a comment in here, and I wish we could still star comments. I miss that about our old streaming software, because it's so hard to find you guys when you put in good stuff. So apologies for missing the name, but like someone asked us, would you attach O'Reilly and picks to get rid of Nurse? Here's the problem with doing that. If you attach Sam O'Reilly and picks and get rid of Nurse, you now have $9.25 million in cap space. You now have, because again, it's going to take your first round pick in 2027 probably to get out of it. You now have nothing to trade. So you cannot acquire anything on the market. You have $9.25 million to go to free agency to what? Sign Aaron Ekblad to a deal that's going to be just as shitty, if not shittier.
To save like $1 million.
To save $1 million and go from Nurse to Ekblad. Like,
yeah.
It just does. The only way you can trade Darnell Nurse, and keep in mind, he has to agree to leave, and he probably won't. The only way to trade him is to either A, find a perfect point over the next year where his value, like he regains value a la Seth Jones, and you go dump him now.
Yeah.
But again, you have to find a spot where he'll waive to go to. And again, why would he agree mid-season to uproot his family and leave a cup contender to go somewhere else? He's not. Seth Jones was doing that because he was on a dog shit team, and they said, how would you like to live tax-free in Florida? And he said, that's awesome. I hate Chicago. Like that scenario's not happening for Darnell Nurse,
sell.
right?
Yeah.
Like there's no easy sell for Nurse to waive. You can't buy him out. The contract is absolutely buyout proof.
Yes.
It makes zero financial sense to buy him out. The only way to do it is to go to Toronto and say, will you trade him straight up for Morgan Riley? And you go to Nurse and say, how would you like to go home, right?
Yeah.
Or you find like a Dallas, if Dallas had an $8 million defenseman they were trying to get rid of, like you're doing Lucic for Neil. That's the only way this is working. And even then, there's the added wrinkle. Like Lucic got so bad here that it was like, dude, you obviously want to leave. Yes, I want to leave. You're gone. I don't think we're at the point. Like Darnell Nurse won't want to leave.
He loves it here.
I love Darnell Nurse being an Oiler. Like
I do too, because there's also the human side of it. Of like he has such a big impact in our community, and like I know that's not something we always think about, and eventually you do kind of have to push that to the side.
Yeah,
but like,
I know.
Guys listen to him in the room. Like he is the guy that is respected. He was a groomsman at McDavid's wedding. Like,
yep.
Hell, like those LA rumors might become more true if you move on from a guy like Darnell Nurse. Like, I just don't think it's realistic, unfortunately. I think it's more realistic. We might not see Ekholm for a long time next season.
I would
or
agree.
Maybe ever again.
I would potentially agree.
So maybe that's something. But yeah, like Sam O'Reilly, like you said, like you need your Lundell. And he kind of needs to be it. It's a few years behind, but you need to find that guy, and they might already have him.
Yeah. Ian Gallagher says you replace him with 3 guys, but like that's not.
They don't even have enough space for 3 guys.
Yeah, and like again, you're talking about keeping 50% of them and moving on. Okay, then you find a $4 million D-man to replace Nurse, and I agree that like a Wallman-Ekholm left side is better than a Nurse-Ekholm left side.
Yeah.
But we also don't know if Ekholm's back. So like, again, there's just too many things up in the air. Someone else said you trade RNH to Buffalo. Everyone has a fucking no movement clause.
Also,
why? Also, no, you're not trading Nuge because he's actually a good contract, and I agree. Like, would just in a vacuum of the value and are you a better team, do I trade Nuge and the 2027 first for JJ Peterka? I don't think twice. Hit the button, do the deal. I love you, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, but I want to win a Stanley Cup. Also, Buffalo's not doing that trade. No. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins isn't waving to do that trade. So we're not, like, it's just pointless. Like, I don't even need to put it out there.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know. Peterka's a tough one. Jason Robertson is the guy I'd be wondering about.
But like, there's no assets unless Jim Nill's going to take Darnell Nurse.
I think you could figure it out. I don't know a deal.
You can't.
You can.
How? Like, Liam, there is no path to the assets.
You do have Savoy. You can move on from Savoy.
Okay.
You have a first round pick in a couple of years, which they would probably take and like to move.
So you think Dallas would do Savoy, O'Reilly, and the 2027 first for Robertson?
I don't know. I haven't really read much into it, but I just think like he would be a target that they should look at.
I agree that he's the difference maker kind of player that I'd like to see added. I'm just saying, like, there's just no path to it.
Dallas is so cap stricken and whatnot that there is some leverage there, but I do tend to side with Ty a little bit more. But their situation's a little ugly right now.
The Sam Reinhart deal was Devin Levi and a first round pick. Like, that's the thing. Like, we sit here and we're like, we have to give up this guy, this guy, this guy. No, you don't.
Okay.
Sam Reinhart probably wasn't as good as what Jason Robertson is right now.
Sam Reinhart.
But it's probably not a lot more to put into that deal. A similar deal. The others have also not been linked with Jason Robertson. I'm just hypothetically talking.
Yeah. But, and again, just to add to like the value conversation we're now having, keep in mind that was a first round pick that was coming up, right? They traded him for the first in next year's draft. So Edmonton going to 2027 is less value. Sam Reinhart in the 3 seasons before that, 25 goals in 54 games, granted. So a 30-plus goal
Robertson
season.
has a couple of 40-goal seasons.
So, like, again, the first isn't as valuable. Robertson is more valuable. Devin Levi at the time was kind of considered a future number 1 goalie. Matt Savoy and Sam O'Reilly are projecting to be middle 6 guys. Like, it would Dallas gets a better offer than that from someone.
They probably do. Someone like Ottawa can probably offer them something more out of conference as well. But like, I'm just saying, like, if the Oilers want a game breaker, and we're talking here about like how there's not a lot on the market, you've got a $7.5 million player who's scored back-to-back 40-goal seasons.
I agree.
That you could probably shop for. I don't know what the deal would be, but that's who I would look at.
Would love him. Would make a call. It's just not going to happen. I want to get to a couple super chats here really, really quickly. Alex went in $5. How are we going to have the cap to give McDavid and Bouchard a raise while we have the depth push for a cup? I'll talk about that in a little bit. Hi, I'm Boog Corrigan. Said,
who is Boob Corrigan?
I don't know. Who is that? Like a real person? Like, is that his actual name or is that like a celebrity?
Let's have a look.
Okay, you Google that. I'll read his comment. 1999. Thank you, Oilers Nation, for the great coverage this year. I love the Oilers and my heart is broken for this team. I'm from Texas and finally came to Edmonton for Game 5. Hyman getting hurt was brutal and Florida killed us. Yes, thank you for watching. Yeah, that sucks.
Boo Corrigan is the director of athletics for NC State.
So that's probably not who this is.
The Wolfpack.
The Wolfpack, yeah.
Jeremiah, our boy from up north in Alaska. Boys, sorry for your loss. This is going to be unpopular, but I feel like the Oilers really struggled after after we got back. No, it's popular. Am I off base? Anyways, Tyler, Liam, Bordzy, love you guys. See you at the draft. We're not going to the draft this year.
There's no draft.
The Oilers have 1 pick in the first 5 rounds. We're not covering the draft. J. Core 999. No team can win with DeBoer. The Kings crumbled inexplicably after 2 games, and Hill was an atrocious goalie the entire playoffs. This isn't something to build on. That's so fucking revisionist. If you can find me saying, if you have proof of yourself saying either one of those 3 things before the playoffs started, the Kings being bad, no team can win with DeBoer, or Hill being shitty, no, that's revisionist history. I'm not buying that. LA Canuck is in and says, my wife and I are doing better than expected today. Let's hope we can figure it out. 3rd time's the charm. Wonder if Nurse can reconstruct his deal to help with deferred payments. Now that can't happen in the NHL, so it's not a thing. He said it's like Ohtani. Nah, sorry, it doesn't work like that. Yeah. Would you trade Bouchard for Dobson and sign Dobson for $8 million? No. O'Reilly a first and a second for Peterka. Buffalo says no thanks.
I had this debate with my friends yesterday. They were just like, how do you pay Bouchard now? It's like, are you joking? Like, we just went 3 rounds of talking about how elite this guy is.
Yeah.
People were saying Cale Makar is the only defenseman better than him in the NHL. He has, 2 or 3 bad games in the Cup final where, bear in mind, everybody had a bad game.
Everyone was terrible, yeah.
And all of a sudden, gotta trade him. Can't keep this guy around. How can you pay this guy $10 million? How can you pay this guy $10 million? He's literally one of the best players in the league. Like, what are we doing? Come on. I know we're upset, but this is ridiculous.
Okay.
It's unreal.
I'm going back to Ian on this Peterka thing. He goes, Buffalo wants players. The Oilers have no players to trade. Do you think Buffalo is going to be like, you know what? Evander Kane for Peterka. You think Evander Kane's going to not have Buffalo on his 16-team no-trade list? You think Buffalo's going to be like, you know what? That went so well last time. Let's do it. What? You think Nuge or Hyman or any of the players with value on this roster are going to be like, fine, I'll go to Buffalo so that you guys can get Peterka? What?
All right, guys, I'll sacrifice my career.
And that's what I'm saying. I love the offseason banter. I feel like it's when I'm at my best. Can we just have an ounce of reality in any of these conversations? And I don't even mean to come at you that hard, but they cannot get Jason Robertson. They cannot acquire a player of that stature. And that's what makes this all so frustrating.
Okay, then they can't get anyone.
Yeah.
Then why the fuck are we talking about it?
I don't know. You can't say that the day after we lose the Cup final. We got a lot of shows to do here. They can
you
get
said
anyone.
they needed a star player, and Jason Robinson is available. And I said they should see if they could get him.
Dallas
and I think they should see if they can get him.
That's what I said.
I know, but I'm saying they can't get him.
Then they're not getting anyone.
This
Nick
is what
Ehlers
the Panthers want, us to tear each other apart.
It's a tough season. It's a tough off season to go out and get another star-ish player.
And that was my whole one big take for our friends at Tourism Jasper was I think they need a true difference maker. I think they know they need a true difference maker.
Yeah.
And I don't think they can get a true difference maker.
Maybe Ryan Donato could be the guy. He had 31 goals.
Oh,
on the top unit power play. Don't get Ryan
And he'd
Donato,
come here
please.
and he'd be Adam Henrique because he has to play on the third line and doesn't get power play minutes.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Should we go through the trade targets list again?
Let's have a look.
There it is.
JJ Peterka 1. Well, Chris Kreider's gone. Marco Rossi,
absolutely.
fuck, I would go get him for, I don't know, Philippe Kemp.
Should we go get Marchessault?
No.
He's not a game breaker, though. Yeah. The only game
That's kind of the same thing again of Arvidsson Skinners.
There's 3 game breakers on that list. I would say Peterka, Rossi, and Robertson.
Yeah.
Keandre Miller's interesting. I don't mind him, but he could quickly turn into Don Ellis.
Yeah, he'd be bad.
John Gibson, no. Rights to Isaac Howard. I do like him, but again, he's not going to be anything special.
No one here is good. Everyone on this list stinks.
I know.
These guys all stink.
That's a pretty shitty list.
I like Natchez.
Yeah, but he's a dickhead.
He's a dick and no one likes being his teammate. And someone just says, not OE. Tyler confirmed cup window is closed. Oh, baby, it's wide open, and I would bet on them being back next year.
I would too.
I'm just trying to outline what I think is the problem and what would help them get over the hump again.
Let's keep going down this rabbit hole. Is the NHL just bad right now?
I think everyone is settled in, and it's just not going to be a crazy year of player movement, right?
Yeah.
Would you go get Demko? Absolutely, I would. Would Vancouver trade him here? Doubt it. Gibson? No interest. I go get Demko before I get Gibson.
Yeah. Demko's younger, I would think.
Yeah.
I know they both have injury problems. I said I wouldn't do that with Gibson, but Demko's an elite goalie. I think Gibson's a very good goalie.
Oh, I'm going to just lose it on this comment.
Which one?
From Justin.
Justin. I'll read it.
All right. You read it. I'll react.
Leave the camera on him. Why isn't anyone talking about Knobloch as a problem for Edmonton? Knobloch didn't change his strategy, and McDavid was pissed.
Okay. Will I agree that McDavid was pissed after the game? Yes. No shit. Just lost the Stanley Cup final. Chris Knobloch has coached in how many playoffs, Liam? How many seasons?
2.
How many times has he led the Oilers to a Stanley Cup final?
2.
How many series out of the 8 has he won?
6.
How many times have we sat here at the end of that series in those 6 series they've won and said, wow, did he ever outcoach the other guy?
6.
Come on, man. We can't do the fucking coach thing again.
No.
This has been very therapeutic for me. I hope you realize that's why I'm swearing so much today.
I love Bruce Kurlock, but it was minutes after they lost, and he was going at Nobby. I'm like, brother, what are we doing here?
We can't do that. We can't do that. Also, I don't. Was he going at him or was he just kind of putting out the?
Maybe my emotions were high too.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, the one move I would absolutely love to see the Oilers do. The St. Louis Blues have how much cap space? $5 million in cap space. Okay. Granted, they have a pretty much full roster for next season. Not pretty much. They have a full roster next season. They have one guy they need to sign. It's Joel Hofer. All reports are they do not want to move on from Jordan Binnington. I would offer sheet Joel Hofer. If you gave Joel Hofer $4.679 million on a 5-year deal, you're telling me Joel Hofer's not going guaranteed $20 million? I'm in. You're telling me St. Louis isn't sitting there going, uh-oh. Like, they could afford to match it. I get it. I don't know. The only thing is the Oilers wouldn't be able to go higher than that because they don't own their own first-round pick. But they do own, I'm just double-checking, because if you went with the offer sheet of $4.679 million, the compensation is your own second-round pick next year. And the Oilers have it.
Woo.
You can offer sheet someone for $4.69 million. $4.679 million. I would offer sheet Joel Hofer and just put the Blues in a... Like, if the Blues match, who cares? It doesn't matter to you. I would do that offer sheet and just sit there and go, you know what? Worst case scenario, we just made the Blues eat up every dollar of their cap space.
Yeah.
And we just made the Blues commit to having a $10+ million tandem next year.
Do you want to do that, though, just because it's St. Louis or because you like Joel Hofer?
Both. I love Joel Hofer. Joel Hofer is better than Jordan Binnington. Joel Hofer would come here and be your 1A, and Skinner would be your 1B. It would give you another, even if you wanted to go shorter term, I don't think Hofer would accept the deal at that point. Maybe he would, actually. If you went to Hofer and were like, do you want a 2-year, $4.69 million deal? And again, you force St. Louis into an awkward spot. You give yourself the year to figure out if Hofer can be your number 1. It allows you time to make a decision on Skinner. Even if you have to re-up Skinner for $4 million because he has a good year, which again, like I'm getting down a weird rabbit hole here, but then your tandem's only $8 million as the cap goes up. Yeah. Offer sheeting Joel Hofer makes so much sense, and like there's no downside. Either you get the goalie and you have a good young 1A 1B tandem for next year, or you fuck the Blues.
I'm a bit torn on it. I'd like someone who's a bit more, what's the word, like established, yeah. And I know he's been in the league a couple of years, whatever. But I mean, his numbers are exactly the same as Skinner's in his first 2 years, basically just flipped.
I would sign up for a young guy who's had 2 seasons. One's a 914, one's a 904.
Yeah,
I sign up for that.
He's a good goalie.
He's only 24.
Yeah.
Like he's doing. Yeah,
I really don't know what to do with the goalies, to be honest. I think Skinner's here next season. As much as people don't want to acknowledge that, like Pickett'd be the one that goes. It just makes sense. Yep. I don't think Pickett's going to get much better, if better.
And if you go to trade Stuart Skinner, you're getting nothing back for him.
No. And he's
knowing what the goalie market is, like, yeah.
I just don't know who it is. Like, man, Sorokin somehow becomes available. Obviously, yes, but like,
I don't think he is.
I don't think he is. I don't think there are goalies available.
I don't think Matthew Darsh is walking in his first summer on Long Island and being like, I'm trading our generational goalie. Everyone keeps saying Sorokin like it's some sort of very clearly obvious available guy that we're just choosing to ignore. He's not available.
I haven't seen his name popped up once. God, I forgot this is what this show is like before the deadline. Come on, get Gibson.
Someone goes, great idea, Tyler. Trade for another Stuart Skinner.
Pause for effect.
Guys.
I don't know. I don't think there's a goalie option out there that I'm just like looking at being like, that's the guy. That's who I want.
I don't
think there's a damn player out there where I'm looking at being like, he will change everything.
I would offer sheet Maverick Bork in Dallas. Dallas is screwed 6 ways through Sunday cap-wise.
No. We can't sit here and be like, let's get another experiment. They need established players, and I get it if like...
But like, what if Bork can be Holloway?
What if Savoy just becomes Holloway? And you
what if they
have
both are?
Then I don't want to... Great. What if they're not? I don't want to find out if one of them's good or bad. Like, there's a reason Maverick Bork didn't play playoff games.
Yeah, you're right.
And the Oilers are in no position to be like, our 2 big signings this summer are Maverick Bork and Joel Hofer. Their signings need to be again, just not
Impact.
maybe not him, but like
Yep.
Jason Robinson. We got Jason Robinson. We got JJ Paterka.
Yeah.
We're going to go win the damn thing next year
be-
because we have 6 players who can score 40 goals.
Yeah.
Will they do it? I don't know. We'll find out. Things are going to get crazier the next couple of days. We've already seen a lot of rumors come out.
We are. So let's keep cruising along. You have an offseason hypothetical for me?
Oh, yeah, I do. Which
Okay.
kind of leads into... Actually, fuck, I'm going to have to cross this one off.
Okay, well, let's do... it's our Sherwood Ford giant offseason question for the day. Also, I'll do Sherwood Ford. It's brought to you by Nation Valet Service. They come pick up your vehicle, drive it to the dealership, do all the work. If you need a new vehicle, if you need a used vehicle, check out their large inventory, sherwoodford.ca. If you have a vehicle, don't even have to have serviced or bought it there. You can take advantage of the Nation Valet Service. People are calling my Joel Hofer thing a brain-dead take.
No, it's just that moron Aaron. Every single comment he makes is just so negative. Why the fuck do you watch? I do not understand people like this.
Aaron, if you never watch this show again, I
never
promise
will.
you I will not think about you twice.
He's gone forever. I don't get it. Like, why? Just have your opinions. I couldn't care less if you want
brain
to
dead take to sign a 24-year-old who's an established 1B and probably has legit starter upside.
Career above 900.
Career above 900 at age 24.
It's ridiculous.
Has outperformed Jordan Binnington and you could argue back-to-back seasons.
Yeah.
That's a tough look for Aaron's everywhere. Aaron's 8'6", 8'3". Cut it out.
Don't worry, guys. You'll
Brain dead
never hear
take.
from him
Fuck you.
again. And his brain dead takes.
Okay.
Sorry, Kara.
I think the Blues would
As you
gladly.
were. As you
I think the Blues would gladly take a second for Joel Hofer. I don't think they would. I think they would have a legitimately tough decision to make.
I think
Anyways,
so, too.
I'll move on from that. Liam, you wanted to give me your offseason hypothetical.
Sure.
For sure, for the Giants.
We already covered 2 of the 3 I had wrote down, but I have a third one, which I think is something that's fun to consider, and we'll call it a positive, spin things around here.
Okay.
Vasily Podkolzin, strong season with the Oilers.
Yep.
What do you have, 2-3 goals in the playoffs? Fairly consistent for a guy who's in your bottom 6. $1 million, 8 goals over the season. Obviously, you would like to see him work on his shooting accuracy, shooting period. Would you consider an extension for him this offseason? He is eligible. He's only 23 or whatever.
I mean, listen, everything is obviously numbers dependent. So, like, what kind of extension does Vasily Podkolzin want? 2 more years of RFA years than a UFA season. So I think an extension would maybe look like a 3-year deal where you say, all right, we'll give you some security, but we want your first UFA year to be a bargain for us.
Yeah.
We're not just going to give you the 2 years through RFA and see it. If Vasily Podkolzin would sign a 3-year, $1.6 million deal?
Similar, let's say it's the Ty Emberson deal.
Yeah, they'd be very similar to the Ty Emberson deal.
He deserves a little bit more than what Emberson at 1.3, I think it ended up being.
Yeah.
So what did you say, 1.6?
Yeah.
Say you push it to 1.75 for 3 years.
Yeah.
I think that's a solid deal. There's been no
And as the cap
speculation.
goes up, it gets better and better by that 3rd year. Again, if he figures out the scoring, that has a chance to just be an unbelievable deal. Would Pods do that when, again, 2 RFA RBers on him? But if he's a guy who's like, I have a home here, I love it, like he feels like he's comfortable, then yeah, maybe.
That's what I think about is like, you have this if you're this young player like Podkolzin, you have 2 players in McDavid and Draisaitl who I would say love playing with him. I like really appreciate what he brings to the team. There was a comment too, I can't remember who it was. It was one of the players was just talking about like how dedicated this guy is. Like, I think he really fits the environment of what they want. And also a guy who's struggled to find an impact in the NHL consistently, but now is a place where I would say he's like appreciated. And obviously there's the Frederick conversation of like what that's going to look like.
We'll talk about that in a second.
Talk about, But then you have Frederick and Podkolzin locked up in your bottom 6 for the next, so let's just say 3 years at a minimum for Podkolzin, plus whatever extends on Frederick. Like, I think it's a really solid piece of business and someone I would hope they can get a deal done at some point within the next year.
Someone said 1.75 is close, but I'd do it. If you feel uneasy about it, probably means it's a fair deal for the player too. So like, you know.
Yeah, I like that. He's a good player. Do you know, actually yesterday was the first game the Oilers lost when Podkolzin scored a goal.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
They were 9-0, I think it was, or 10-0, whatever it ended up being. Too bad. He is good.
Someone said Joey Decord. Seattle's not going to trade him.
They just re-signed him.
Yeah. They're not going to move him.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. We got a couple more things we need to crush off the list today, including a little rumor mill update. Can't believe it's the first time we're doing this season, or since the deadline, I guess. It's brought to you by our friends at Krabby Goat Distillery. Sweet, smooth, dangerously sippable. Their handcrafted moonshine comes in a bunch of flavor-packed bold styles like lemon meringue pie, sour fuzz and peach, cafe latte cream, and orange creamsicle. It's fun, cheeky, and totally different from the harsh stuff your uncle used to hide in the garage with the 3 X's on the jug like they drank in cartoons. Mix it, sip it, shoot it, share it. Krabby Goat Distillery, krabbygoat.com to find out more and flip through all of their fantastic flavors. All right, rumor mill.
Rumor has it. Ooh.
Elliot Friedman on the Fan 590 in Toronto said this: Frederic is staying. Yeah. I think there's an 8-year deal close to getting done there. We'll see what they do around him. Frederic, by the way, I'm curious to find out he was not close to 100%. Friedman basically goes on to say, the point is, as we reported on our show, it's 8 by 3.5 for Trent Frederic. That deal's going to get done, I think.
We're reporting this. I'm telling you right now, we have strong sources on this.
It's an 8 by 3.5.
Never had them before.
But we got them now.
This is the one we are. This is ours.
We're on it.
When we die, this will be on our gravestones.
Trent Frederic, 8 by 3.5.
3.5.
Don't clip this. Don't put this on the internet in case we're wrong.
Like it or love it. Like it or hate it, whatever the saying is.
So people are saying,
going to happen.
People are saying, why 8?
I don't know. I didn't ask questions.
People are saying, why 8? I'm saying, good question. But if you want, do you want me to make the case for it?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I'll make the case for it. He's 27 years old. This is a chance to buy incredibly low on a player who has tradition. Like go look at Trent Frederic's numbers in Boston. He had a higher points per 60 than Brad Marchand this year.
Yeah.
In Boston.
One just got more motivated and less injured.
So the last 3 seasons for Trent Frederic, 17 goals in 79 games, averaging 11.55 a night. The next season, he goes 18 goals in 82 games, averaging 13.45 a night. This year, he gets 8 goals in 57 games. That's about a 12-13 goal pace, playing 13.50. He can play center. He can play the wing. As the cap starts to go up, you need to start adjusting your idea of what different lineup spots traditionally get paid. If you sign him to an 8-year deal, halfway through this deal, the cap limit is going to be probably $117 million.
Okay.
So at that point, he'll be making 3% of your cap at $3.5 million, less than that, 2.75% of your cap. That's the equivalent of what would be a $4 to $5 million player right now.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're getting him at such a bargain down the line. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. It's the equivalent of like a $1.5-2 million player. Whatever. I'm confused on the math now. A low-end player. If you look at Trent Frederic and go, he's 27. We think we're going to get real good value for all 8 years, and he's a guy who's going to age well into being a nice bottom 6 piece for us. But you also view him as a 27-year-old through the lens of, wow, if we play him with skill in our top 6, maybe he scores us 22 goals. Or, worst case scenario, he's our third-line center / third-line winger who's physical, who fights. Maybe we can teach him to be a penalty killer. And when he played that third-line role in Boston, he still scored somewhere between 13 to 18 goals every year. Like, if you think there's upside for him to be a Nuge light or a Zach Hyman light where he fills in the top 6 and scores you a bunch of goals, I'm not saying he's ever going to score 30, 40 goals. Like, that's ridiculous. But, like, if you think he can be a 22-goal winger for you and you sign him for 3.5, great deal. If you think he can be Evan Rodriguez in Florida, great deal. The downside, if you just think he's a defensive specialist third-line center, the downside's not that bad here. My concern would be the rant I had earlier in the show, which is quit screwing around with mid-range guys, sign expensive players or sign scrubs and make it work. This counteracts that. So I'm maybe talking out of 2 sides of my mouth here on this thing.
I don't think you are, though, because I think from my perspective of what you were saying anyway is you obviously need those middle contracts.
You do.
But you can't just have everyone on middle contracts. Yeah. You need your star guys and you need the guys in the middle who are going to play 11 to 14 minutes and contribute on the second unit power play or the penalty kill, whatever you want to do. I think Frederic, what makes it, there's 2 sides of it, right? He could be Nick Paul and get 20 goals a year, or he could be Miles Wood and he could sit on your 4th line every night.
But Nick Paul's a great contract.
Yeah, great
Miles
contract.
Wood is, again, a shitty 4th liner.
But he's only $2.5 million.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, the other part of this too is You sign Frederick for 8 years, and let's just say, for example, he's inconsistent. 1 year he gets you 20 goals, next year he gets you 8. Yep. But at least you don't have to find that guy every single year.
Yeah.
And you just have a guy.
You can quit screwing around, giving up first-round picks for Henrique and Bukestad.
Exactly. Like, you've just got this guy, and he's only 27. You need a bit more youth in there. I do think he will be better next season because he'll be allowed to practice more. Like
he won't have a debilitating high ankle sprain.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like he never got to play in the regular season. He never got a chance to show what he could become on a penalty kill. Like, and I know the playoffs didn't go how we all wanted him to. 1 goal isn't enough, but I think it's a guy that genuinely wants to be around. And like you said, like $3.5 million, they have $64 million in cap space in 2 years.
Yeah.
You had a $3.5 million player in that.
Granted, McDavid and Bouchard take up 25, 26 mil of that.
But still, that's still $44 million. And you already have a guy signed up. It's one less thing you have to figure out every year.
He won't be youth for 8 years, yes. But by the back half of the deal, Jay, what I'm saying is $3.5 million is what fourth-line guys are going to be making in the NHL.
Yeah, it won't even matter. Also, maybe his ankle gets sore again in year 7 and 8. All of a sudden, he just can't play.
Oh, no.
Damn it.
Please sign Taves. He would be a great addition, bring in playoff experience. Would you buy out Adam Henrique and sign Taves for $1 million?
Yes.
It would save you $1 million against the cap. Going from Henrique to Taves. I would do it.
Probably. I
got to see what Taves looks like.
Yeah.
That's the prerequisite, I suppose. Yep.
Yeah, I'm having Taves and Perry on my same team. Also, too, I forgot to bring this up yesterday. Someone said on the show, this team is too old to beat Florida. Florida is a younger team with just more experience in the playoffs. The Florida Panthers were 0.5 younger than the Oilers. It was like the Oilers like 30 years old, 0.1 or whatever, 30.1 years old, and Florida was like 29.6 around there. It's like, God damn it, move off this damn stupid narrative.
The one thing I'll add to Trent Frederick, just playing devil's advocate a bit, you mentioned Nick Paul or Ross Colton, that it could be either or. 8 years next to that does scare me.
Yep.
That you don't know what that could be. But it sounds like the 8 years is locked in.
But what if it's great?
Damn right, Liam. You're damn right.
We got someone commenting that keeps going, Arvid Soderblom.
Brian, come on.
So Soderblom, I mean, I'm not offer sheeting Soderblom because I don't want to pay him money. Like if I'm taking him, it's like a risk, right? Like he's a guy who hasn't had the career numbers that Hofer's had. Granted, you can look at Soderblom and be like, well, he's been playing in Chicago. If we put him in our system, is he better? And like I can track the logic behind going and getting Soderblom. Here's the only way I do it. Is if Chicago's like, hey, we want a 2nd-round pick for Soderblom, and we're sitting there going, how about instead of a 2nd-round pick, you take Evander Kane? Because you need to add scoring and you need to compete next year or whatever. Like, I don't think they would even want Evander Kane, but like, or would Chicago take Arvidsson for Soderblom? Like, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I do think Arvidsson's gone.
Cool. We're going to boot this guy from the chat because he seems like a fucking dweeb.
Yeah, he seems fun. All Nuge does is play on the penalty kill. Said about the guy who got a power play goal 2 games ago.
Yep. Elliot Friedman had one more on Trent Frederick. Zach Lang at Oilersnation.com wrote a piece about this. AFP Analytics projected him to get a 2-year, $3.4 million deal. So going to 8 years and getting it 3.5. Evolving Hockey projected that an 8-year deal for Trent Frederick, based on the quality of player, that's how they do it. Like the analytical numbers here. Evolving Hockey projects Trent Frederick would sign an 8-year deal. You would need to give him $4.81 million. Wow. So getting him for 3.5 is 1.3 under market. So you're buying low.
Yeah.
We got a comment from Ian who's been active today. He said Troy Terry. I would love that.
I would too.
Here's the thing. The only person who said he's available is Andy Strickland.
The guy who got the Mitch Marner thing wrong the other day.
Yeah. And Andy Strickland he doesn't shoot from the hip. Nah, I'm not going to. Andy Strickland doesn't. He throws a lot of stuff out there.
Hey. I said Troy Terry a few years ago. Remember, I asked Frank, and he literally laughed at me.
He did. And
I have the Photoshop. That'd be great. I just don't see it. I think Florida, what are they called? Anaheim. They need to take a step.
So a couple more things really quick on what Elliot Friedman had to say. He said, quote, there will be a market for Evander Kane. Kane was a really effective player. I think there will be a market for him. Fantastic. Kane has a 16-team no-trade list. We'll have this debate tomorrow because we are going to wrap up the show here. I didn't think we'd even go this long. We are fully in our off-season bag, by the way.
Oh, yeah. A lot of clips on here, Brett.
A lot of clips, Brett. You can just sprinkle these out. Kane has a 16-team no-trade list. The balance with Kane is like, do you trust him to not be a problem next year? Evander Kane in a contract year with a bunch of money on the line, you might get the best of Evander Kane. Do you trust an aging power forward who's shown consistency issues and signs of slowing down? Do you maybe want to see if Evander Kane's got a 25, 30-goal contract year in him because he's motivated as hell?
I have to lean more to he has to go.
It's a dance with the devil.
And I'm just not willing to dance anymore.
You're done dancing. Dancing shoes are off.
We've danced for a while.
I'm in a better mood today than when we started the show. It was therapeutic to do this.
I do just want to say something about Evander Kane and the whole handshake thing last night.
Sure.
So obviously Evander Kane didn't go out for the handshakes, and it became a big thing online. Apparently he was allowed to go back out, even though he was kicked out of the game. And I understand the respect angle of all of this. Maybe he probably should have, but I also think he probably goes into the room, rips off his shirt. His dreams are crushed. Like he just lost another Stanley Cup final when last season he wasn't able to play. This year he was able to come. Obviously didn't have the impact like we spoke about earlier, but I do think there's always the human side of this that you have to look out and be like, he's probably just feeling it right now too.
Yep.
Everything's off already, and like, sure, you can go out there and shake everyone's hand that you just battled against, but like, I also just don't think it's as big as a headline as it needs to be.
I agree. Brendan is in and says, if Kane can't be motivated by a Stanley Cup final, what's a contract year going to do?
Good point.
Let's see.
He likes money.
How much money does Evander Kane get for winning the Stanley Cup final?
Maybe like $100,000 if he has a bonus.
How much money does he get if he scores if he pops 30 goals next year?
Maybe like $100 million.
Whoa!
That was loud.
That's Evander.
That's close.
All right, Jay, don't trade him. Jesus Christ.
One thing I will say, Liam, Evander Kane's not the first person to lose the Stanley Cup final. You can go out there and shake hands.
That's fair.
It's a very basic thing to do. And if you play, also, if you're Evander Kane, just, dude, have some common sense and be like, they're going to clip this. This is going to be a thing.
I just don't think he gives a shit.
And that's why he has the image that he has. So he can't bitch about stuff like that. Also, when you're a power forward and you play that, greasy game, whatever, that's the point of the handshake line in the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. Said you go out there and you say, hey, shake my hand, good battle, it's all good.
Did you guys hear did the chat hear the thunder?
Yeah, they did. That was a loud one. That means it's on top of us. I just think, honestly, like, I don't think the Florida Panthers cared. I really don't think anyone cares besides all of us who want to give our opinions online.
True.
Like, it just is, I think it's such an irrelevant topic. It is what it is. I'd love to know, and maybe someone else has an example. You can let me know tomorrow, maybe. There surely is another player who has been kicked out of a game and just didn't come back out.
Probably, yeah.
I wouldn't. I honestly wouldn't. I would be bummed. Would you go? It's hard to say, but like when you're in it, like sometimes you don't even... You probably signed it, probably didn't know it was over.
Yep. So we're in the Riverdale area, so we're kind of downtown, like a few blocks from Rogers. It's thundering like crazy.
No rain.
But it's not raining.
I just watered my grass this morning. What a waste of time that was.
Yep.
God damn it.
All right. Let's, there's one more thing I wanted to do today. Tomorrow we'll do a salary cap talk.
Sure. We'll do my one big take tomorrow.
And then we're going to talk about some potential buyouts on the Oilers tomorrow.
Because that happens once the cup is handed out, it's 24 hours.
Yeah.
So is that from the second it's handed out, like the game ends? Like, how does that
It's
work?
probably like 10 p.m. tonight.
Okay.
24 hours after the cup's handed out, buyouts open. Tomorrow's show, we'll talk buyouts. One more thing for our friends at Bet365. Download the app today. Use the code NATION, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. I don't know if you view this as good news or bad news, Liam. The Edmonton Oilers have opened as co-favorites to win the Stanley Cup.
Hell yeah.
Plus 700. They're tied with...
Florida.
The Carolina Hurricanes.
God, why do we do this?
Every year, baby.
Every year.
Canes Oilers. Lock it in. Panthers are next at plus 750. Avs and Stars are plus 900. That's your top 5. If I could buy low on a team, I did this with Frank today. Minnesota's 35-1. They have a bunch of cap space to spend,
they do.
a bunch of assets. I could see Minnie doing something kooky. And
First year without the Parise and Suda buyouts.
it went from 15 mil to 2 mil.
Yeah, there you go. So
I'll have you know, I already placed my Oilers future. It felt weird not seeing at the bottom of my Bet365
so you
account,
just
so
got
I
it back.
redid it again.
So what are they? Sorry, plus 750?
Yeah, plus 700.
700.
Also, did you see the kid with the 5-pick parlay?
Yeah,
So
that blew it.
I believe he cashed out with like 30 something. Well, I think when they went down in the
Rightfully
game
so.
yesterday, he was like, "Okay, I'm out."
Yeah.
Respect. I understand.
100%. You should be out.
I would have cashed out when it was 100 grand so fast.
Yeah.
Bet 365. Odds for Mitch Marner's next team.
Oh. So I'll guess the top 3.
Okay.
Vegas, Carolina. Oh.
You'll never get the third.
Ottawa.
Do you want to go till you get it?
No, because we did this with Jeff Skinner the other day where I guessed every single
I know. That's kind of why I want you to do it.
Okay. Vegas, Carolina.
You nailed them. Plus 200, plus 450. The next one's plus
Is
600.
that the order? Vegas, Carolina?
Yeah, Vegas, Carolina.
Okay.
The other one has a weird storyline.
Weird story.
Yeah.
Florida.
No.
Buffalo.
No.
God damn it. Montreal.
No.
Vancouver.
No.
Utah.
No.
Edmonton.
No.
East.
Calgary.
No.
Oh, it's in the
I'll
East.
go East.
Rangers.
No.
Islanders.
No.
Devils.
No.
Holy moly, who's left? Tampa Bay.
No.
The new Atlanta expansion.
Metro.
Pittsburgh.
There you go.
Damn it.
Took a minute.
I honestly, that would have been my last
Pittsburgh
guess.
3. Ready? I'm going to give you all. Speed run. Odds in order from Bet365 on who Mitch Marner will sign with. Vegas, Carolina, Pittsburgh, Anaheim, Chicago, LA, Utah, San Jose, Toronto, Columbus, Florida, Ottawa, Detroit, Islanders, Rangers, Philly, Boston, Buffalo, Calgary, Colorado, Dallas, Edmonton,
Oh, they're like 27th.
Minnesota, Montreal, Nashville, New Jersey, Seattle, St. Louis, Tampa Bay, Vancouver, Washington, and Winnipeg. Not even, yeah.
They were not 27th. There was like 10 more teams you named after that.
1,
Lost
2,
count.
3, 6,
17th,
Yeah,
I
they're like 10th or 20th or something.
I'm surprised Minnesota's so low considering what you just said about the money.
Yeah.
But do they have to sign Kaprizov? I would assume.
They do for next summer. Also, does he want to play and live in Minnesota? Probably not.
I hear it's beautiful and never.
You know what I could go for right now? Like a real good chicken sandwich.
Oh, that would be good.
Doesn't that sound tasty?
Chicken.
No afternoon pods. You can do that today.
Yeah, we got a meeting in 10 minutes, but that's about it. All right. That's a wrap on today's edition of the show. Honestly, I just couldn't really do the whole heartbreak thing. I had to talk off season.
Look, guys.
Like, if you wanted us to put up the picture of Calvin Pickard hugging Stuart Skinner and you wanted me to cry on the air, I could have.
Watch After Dark. You'll get
Yeah.
some of that.
That was a sad picture.
I love
Can you
Calvin
take off the
Pickard.
365 thing, Aaron?
Fuck.
I fucking love Jeff Stuart Skinner.
Me too.
And I know it's become very obvious and people hate it. I really don't care. Those pictures kill me. Because it's just like, man, like, those guys love it here. And they love playing for the Edmonton Oilers. And that's why it's important to support the players. And I always respect a guy like Naeem. All season, bitches complains about the goaltending. Deadline passes, he's all in. Everyone's my favorite player. Now he's back today. First opportunity. Trade the goalie. Fair enough. Hey, fair enough.
I respect
Naeem?
it. I respect it.
Naeem,
You're
that's
good.
your fastball,
Yeah.
buddy. You throw it.
Yeah, go ahead. But, man, those pitches always kill me with the players. It's just like,
How did the Oilers Nation fan get back in?
Oh, I might only done for a couple
I'll
minutes.
bat him. Stu's elite, though, Liam. Oilers Nation fan. Great fan.
Okay,
Oilers Nation fan, just go
We've-
into Tyler.
We have so much that we need to still talk about throughout
Today?
the week. So we'll table it. If we didn't get to something, again, reason for you to tune in tomorrow. We're going to keep going 5 days a week up until free agency. Then after that, we're back to our Monday, Wednesday, Friday summer rotation. Got it? You heard?
Sounds good. I'll be there.
Someone, I think it was Naeem who said this is the first time I've smiled.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, same. I did not smile once on my drive in.
I don't know. Sabrina Carpenter was on for me.
I drove home from Greta in absolute silence last night. In my
I have
car.
some takes on Flames fans too, but I'll save those for tomorrow.
I can't even think.
Let's get hateful tomorrow.
I almost snapped on someone on
I
Twitter
don't
yesterday.
get that side of things.
So
I've
stupid.
never understood it.
Okay, that's a wrap on today's edition of the show. Everyone in the YouTube, whole bunch of you, basically playoff numbers still. So we appreciate you tuning into our little therapy session.
$586 raised.
Thank you,
everyone.
Ben Stelter Foundation. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow, noon Mountain Time. Enjoy your Wednesday. Oil up.